In this video, I'm going to share 7 ways to increase your profits in your tuition business. So my name is Haris. I've scaled my previous business to 7 figures, and I'm going to share 7 ideas you can play around with, starting with number one, which I actually have done it, which is to increase your price. So I have a question for all of you tuition business owners who have the heart, educators, right? Including myself. Right. Would you rather run a barely profitable business or run a highly profitable business with some extra profits to actually do good, right? Extra profits that you can, do sponsorships and whatnot. And the thing is, most of the time, you want to just get more profits, right? Because you can do more things, help people who can't afford your services as well. And one thing that's a little bit, something that you can think about is that, salaries has increased, cost of living has increased, and the thing is, sometimes tuition fees didn't really increase. So that's something that's a bit weird. And most of the time, all prices, including services, has increased. And the thing is, if you are a freelance tutor and you have been charging the same since 10 years ago, but the cost of living has increased, rental has increased, that doesn't make sense in the point of view of a logical sense of a business owner that you should charge the same price every time. So another thing that you might have faced is that when you have cheaper customers, you also have high expectations from the cheaper customers. But the thing is, you have expensive customers, they also have high expectations. So which one you want to be okay with? Imagine someone paying $1,000 per month for your tuition service. And they might be a little bit something that you don't prefer, but in the end, it's like they're paying me a lot, so why not just give in a bit? While if you have cheaper customers, you'll be like, they pay me so little and they expect the world, and that's where pricing matters a lot. So best way from my experience that I've already done before is to actually increase your profits, because number one, you can do more good, you can give more value, right? If you think you give a lot of value to the students, whether it is a lot of notes, a lot of food, a lot of things, put it into the cost and also the price of your tuition service, because this allows you to give more and do more if in the future you want to impact more lives, right? So generally, this is the best way to have increased revenue, which also fundamentally increase profits without doing anything. And yes, I've talked to tutors who have done this before, and you know what they say? Yeah, parents complain, but in the end, they have a better business because they can do more with the profits they earn. And you can do more, you can do better, and it's better for the students. All right, so that's number one. So increase the price. So the second one is this thing called termly yearly payments, right? I call it upfront payment. So for example, you charge $200 per month for your tuition service, right? Pretty, depends on your level, but it is pretty low. So for example, you might have an offer right now. Maybe now it's like January, very close to end of January, right? But if you were to have a student that has been with you for quite a while, right? For quite a long time, then what you can do is you can offer them, since you've been with us, why not? I actually give you an offer. For this year, you just pay me $2,000 per month, assuming that every single month there is a lesson, right? $2,000 per year, sorry, per year. And the thing is, you save $400, right? And then you might be thinking, okay, what about semester? Maybe 1,100, right? So per semester is roughly around half, half a year. 6 times 200, you save $100. Or if you want to pay per term, also can 550. And the thing is that you are not you know actually just saving money for the customers. You are opening up to different types of customers who can actually pay $2,000 because it's like nothing to them, or customers who can't pay 2,000 but they only can pay 1,100 and they trust you, or maybe even 550 because they want to save a couple of dollars here and there, right? And that is the thing, right? So payment upfront is always better. Let me know if payment upfront is never better. Put in the comment below, because I personally have gone through chasing payments before, and I rather have upfront payment versus monthly payment, because number one, you have more money in the bank, so you can do more, you can advertise more, you can add more value, you can improve a lot of things as well. So question, would you rather have 2,000 right now in January, or you want 200 per month until December? I'll take the 2,000 because I don't mind having upfront. Because I think most of you know that, sometimes students leave, or, students don't pay. And that's where you have to put in a lot of admin work to just get the payments. All right, so that's termly, yearly, or upfront payments. The next one is this thing called subscriptions. So it was a weird thing when I was talking to tutors and they say, oh, I need to do manual invoice, manual invoice, manual invoice. I'm like, this is right, 2025, 2024, right? So I was thinking like, yes, I understand manual invoice, but manual invoice requires manual work. And is that something that you need to do? And the thing is that there's so many services out there that can actually automate by using this thing called subscriptions, right? Netflix subscriptions, even your mobile plan, it is a subscription and it's already automated. They already deduct it for you. And why not do it for your tutoring business? And you might be thinking, so what other service? So the most popular one is Stripe. Okay, Stripe, you can, if you want to use Stripe, you can. I recommend you to open up, a company, a private limited, and then you can you actually can use Stripe on the day itself, because I've done it already. Or if you want something a bit more local, HitPay is another one. So both Stripe and also HitPay actually takes in a lot of different payments. And one thing, okay, bonus, one thing that I think most of you don't know is that if you open up a lot more payment methods to your customer, you actually are giving customers a lot of options to pay you, and that increases the chance of you getting paid, or more customers, right? Imagine you want to buy something that you really really want, but they only accept, for example, Bitcoin. But it's like, I don't have Bitcoin. I only have, Nets, I have GrabPay, all of that, but you accept Bitcoin. Then in the end, they'll go to someone else who has more payment methods. And that's something that I've learned in my previous business. When we open up a credit line, basically monthly payments from credit, the amount of people who use that option was so much higher, and we actually increased in terms of revenue because it gives a better option for the customers to pay. And that's something not a lot of people know. And that's something that you should actually do. And the thing is that, yes, these automated subscription service payment providers take a percentage of the payment. But the thing is that you want to save costs just because you prefer getting 100% of the payment, right? And that's the thing that you need to think about as a person who wants to, scale your own business. Do you really want 100% pay now, or do you want to have more customers to pay you with more options that you have, even though it's a percentage of the payment? And for those who are smart enough to understand that if I have more customers, I can do more things, then obviously you open up as many payment options as possible. So if you really, really don't want to take in the percentage of the transaction fee from these payment service providers, then what you can do, this is an idea, is you actually can put the transaction fee part of the payment. And sometimes customer don't really care. If they really think that your tuition business service or your teaching is really good, then they will actually pay. There are certain times where I had to pay certain transaction fee, but the thing is that if this is only a few dollars, $10, it's really nothing. And that is $200 out of what, 3%? It's a few dollars, and they're like, okay, I don't mind. And the thing is, that means you are not paying for any transaction fee anymore. You're actually getting the original price of maybe $200. Okay. So generally, if you're just chasing payments for a few dollars, right? And your time is actually very very valuable, because you are the business owner. Your time is supposed to grow the business, not chasing payments, right? Then I think you have to rethink of what you actually want to do lah with your business, to be honest lah, right? Otherwise, would you rather have just pay a few dollars to have a peace of mind? Recurring income that actually that will come, that you don't have to ask every time to, from parents or even from students, because it's a bit like manual work, and sometimes you don't feel good asking for payments, even though they are literally paying for your classes. So these are things that you need to think about, right? And with this, you can actually grow scalably, because this allows you to actually, get more students without worrying about this admin stuff. Yes, you can hire admin, but hiring is another thing that you need to worry about, right? Rather just use a service that's automated to do this. So that's subscription kind of automated service. The next one is most of I think tutors wants to change to one to many class, right? They're one to many class, right? So most tutors are like doing one to one and some group classes as well, right? So maybe this is a good example where sorry if I blocked a bit, but you have four students, right, in one day, and they book each slot 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m., and then they pay you $200 per day, which is actually pretty good, right? If you do that for 30 days, that's already 6K. Very good. But the thing is that literally you have no time for yourself, right? Because you're maxed out. Then the thing is that if you were to change this to one to many, literally, for example, one slot, you can take in five people, then that means you are able to earn five times more, which is roughly around $1,000 per day. If you were to do it every single day, that's 30K, which is amazing, right? So that is something that you need to think about in terms of how you want to get students, right? So the thing is that a lot of times tutors don't know how to transition. So essentially for me personally, I don't know, because I didn't transition from one to one to many. I've always started with one to many because that's a better way to do it, right? So, and the thing is that a lot of times students will leave, or not most of the time, but if you manage to convince them to do one to many, great. Otherwise, they will not stay with you because they came to you for one on one. So, how do you do it, right? And that is another thing that I'm going to share, which is to hire part timers to teach one on one. I've seen some tuition centers actually do this because number one, you're giving more options to more students and parents, because some parents, they know that their student is not really doing so well in a one to many kind of class, because sometimes in a one to many class, that means you need to follow the curriculum or the lessons of the class itself. But for those who cannot catch up, then they require one to one, maybe for a short period of time. And this opens up two different options that a parent can go to for you: one to many and many to many, right? So you can see that I think if you've seen my videos about hiring, right? Hiring is really something that will help you in terms of your business, but you need to know the skills of managing people. And that's why I have tons of videos in my YouTube channel. You can watch it. But the thing is that this opens up a lot more options for you to actually give and service your students, because sometimes your students may come to you for one to many and they realize they could not handle the one to many kind of classes. And then the thing is that if they leave and you don't have an option for them to go for a one to one tutor, you literally lost a sale, right? You literally lost a student that actually can give you money, right? And even if the money is given more to the tutors who you hire as a part-time, right, at least they are inside your tuition. And if you hire well, then they have the same experience with you, and maybe a better experience with the part-timers tutors that you actually hired. And then that's where you don't lose a sale, but you actually maintain the sale or even increase, because now you have two options. And that's something that you need to think about. So just to share, when I was learning sales, the instructor was talking to me what I was doing, and she actually went to a math she brought her child to a math tuition class, and the I think the daughter didn't manage to catch up. So she was a little bit disappointed because she really wants to help the daughter's math. And then after that, she quickly realized that there was another tuition center that actually offers the one-to-one. And she was like happy because like finally some tuition center is able to provide my kid a one-to-one. And the thing is that that same tuition center also has one to many, and that's where if the one-to-one works and they are able to catch up to the class, then they can fit into the one to many. So always keep them in the loop, and this is just part of hiring, which comes to my last part: hiring other tutors. So there is a video I've created where how do you reach 1 million in your tuition business. And the thing is that essentially you just need to hire other tutors. So for example, you're a math tutor and you're bringing in 350K per year, which is amazing, right? I think it's very possible, right? And the thing is that if you were to just provide your students, the same students, with other subjects, you literally 3x your revenue to okay, you're a math tutor, sorry. And then you literally just have 1 million, because 350 times 3, it's 1,150,000, right? But essentially you have a million. And the thing is that that is where most tuition centers have already figured out. Once they have figured out to reach seven figures or even more. And the thing is that even if you don't want to hire, tutors that are in the other subjects, you want to stay in your lane, then you can. So you start from primary, secondary, and then maybe JC or IP or IB, right? And you literally just control the lane of math, which some tuition centers do. And these are things that a lot of tutors who are solo tutors, and I usually call them freelancers, they don't know how to hire, which is a big obstacle, which I believe is just a skill that you learn. And of course, you will make mistakes. You will have bad hiring experience, but eventually, this will make you into a seven-figure tuition business, right? And then generally, you increase your revenue, which also increase the profits. All right. And I don't know if you've counted, but I only shared six. The last one, which is a bonus, is to improve yourself. So a lot of times when I talk to tutors, they are number one afraid of not having their class to be taken over by another tutor. And the thing is that for me personally, I had no problem with that when I was running my tuition business, because number one, I love running business. I love like leading a team, showing the direction of the thing. And for me, I have to figure out how can I make my lessons still be very, very good, right? Number one is to have a feedback system. In I mean, I didn't see it, but eventually it made a very good management system, because I could see who is performing well, who's not, from the part-time and full-time teachers that are hired. Because I don't know, hear students complain and that's too late, and then they quit, and then bad mouth and whatever social media stuff, right? Always prevent that from happening. And number one is using feedback, right? Then number two is that this is something hard for you to swallow, but generally you suck at running businesses. That's why you're not at seven figures. Like, you suck, right? And the thing is, I sucked back then as well, because I didn't know how to manage a team, right? Because I was taking in more than I should delegate. Number two is that I was very I'm a person who is very, very low empathy. A lot of people around me tell me that. I mean, that's why I'm able to grow. But the thing is that I take in feedback. Feedback is super important, because this allows you to not only improve yourself, but once you improve yourself, your business will improve. Because I've seen it before with myself, right? And my business partner as well. Because once we grow, the business grows, and eventually the value that we create from improving ourselves actually reflects to the revenue that we generate. Because if customers or students get results from your education, from your tuition business, then it speaks volume. And the problem is scale, right? And that's a problem that you need to solve and get better. And I've done it before, because I wanted to not teach at all, and that's where I have to improve myself, right? How do I scale the same standards of teaching that I have done for students? And I managed to do that. I've hired a very good tutor, even though he has no education experience, but students under him always have a lot of good things to say. And I told him, like, you're a good tutor, because he is so much better than me, right? So these things you need to like be open to. And the thing about not having someone to feedback about your performance is that you don't see what's your flaws, and you think it must be a competition problem. Why students are not coming in, because 10 years ago there wasn't much competition. Right now there is. And the thing is that there are younger tutors who are doing better, who knows how to use technology to actually improve. And the thing is, if you don't improve yourself, it's not it's like it's something that you have to fight. I mean, something that you improve lah, to tell yourself, right? And it's hard for you to hear that, but if you want to reach seven figures or even eight figures, or to a lifestyle where you can not teach but business running, you got to do this. Right, with that said, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want more of this kind of video, subscribe down below and comment down on what things that you think you're going to implement in your current business. With that said, see you in the next one. Bye bye.